Welcome. Welcome. I think I'm live, even though it says I'm not. Welcome. 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 I'll say welcome quite a bit. How about that? One of these days. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Implement Club. And it's Build Your Business again, 8 a.m. Saturday for 52 weeks. I may regret this, but this is it. I think this is week 7, and we're going to be talking about a weekly workshop. And right now I have no idea whether or not I'm on Facebook, because of course I have two-factor authentication and my phone is somewhere else in order to do that authentication. So I'm still unprepared, but anyway, I'll put it up as a replay. So welcome, I'm Jane Gardner, and welcome to Build Your Business at Implement Club, where we start implementing and taking action. And for example, I'm doing a weekly workshop to get out there, tell Facebook that I'm alive, and hopefully tell other people that I'm alive. If they're on Facebook, I get a few comments when I have the broadcast, so I expect there's someone out there listening to me at the moment. But I'm also on YouTube, so that hopefully will either get there live as an event, or I use IFTT, if then they're that. No, that can't be right. And it broadcasts it later onto YouTube. So that's a useful tool. I like that tool. So let's get started. If you don't know me, here's my bio. I'm Jane Gardner. I work with my husband in our structural engineering firm for the last 23 years. And we've traveled, and I'm an artist, and I love my Cairn Terrier, and we live in Western Canada, up near the border and near the coast. So take a guess where that would be. And basically, my jane-gardner.com website is sort of my center hub of everything that I do, from coaching, from training, from podcasting, etc. So go over there and check me out. But today on implement.club, we're going to be talking about doing a weekly workshop. So we'll go over the principles, and then we'll talk about what we did last week. And so let's get started on doing that. Much more useful than me talking. So we've looked at developing your core values, developing your entrepreneurial mindset, developing your brand. And last week we talked about positioning yourself as an educator. Well, of course, you can do this online or offline, or on camera or off camera. But in order to do and be seen as an educator, it's probably a good idea to do a weekly workshop. So we'll be talking about that today. And then next time we'll talk about money. We'll talk about building your product snowball, and we'll define that, and developing a strategic marketing framework, creating a content factory, building a massive network, becoming a media mogul, getting into production mode, getting some assistance with that, building a learning center, creating an online community from having a learning center, and raise and build an affiliate army, and put systems in place in order to make this a business that will keep on growing with or without your help. So we're going to be talking about doing a weekly workshop today. So how doing a weekly workshop can help you build your business. So basically for all of these, I always ask myself, why? Why do you want to do a weekly workshop? As if you don't have enough to do already when you're trying to start a business online. And we're going to go through some reasons, and hopefully these reasons will make you realize that, yes, you should be doing a weekly workshop too, because I can put the names of people on my two hands that do a weekly workshop, certainly in Facebook. There aren't many people out there doing it, and it's probably a good thing for you to do. So let's go over why. So in doing a weekly workshop, you're teaching. It isn't a sales webinar. You're not going to talk. You're not going to then introduce yourself, make a few points about how wonderful you are, and then go into doing a little bit of teaching and then making a sales offer to the people that are there. And if they don't get it that day, then they'll never see it again. So this is about doing a weekly workshop where you're teaching. The idea in the session isn't to get customers to buy from you. You want to get your viewers to get to know you. So you want to attract the viewers who like the way you teach. You want your viewers to trust that you know what you are speaking about. So you obviously want to be able to share your value. And as someone says, I'll just go back quickly to attracting the viewers who like the way you teach. I've been told that I have a very quiet way of teaching, and that people who like that will be the one who will probably want to learn from me. Whereas other people might like someone who's very smiling, loud, and boastful, etc. Anyway, so it depends on your personality. If what your personality is will attract the people that like to hear from you. And you want your viewers to see you as an expert that they would like to see more than once. And of course, more than one time. And you want to be authentic and consistently visible as an expert, so your viewers come back and see your next training, because they know they will get value from the time that they spend with you. So this is the really important part. You have to be aware at all times of your audience. Their time is valuable. Their time is spent either at work or with their family or with their own business, and they want to be able to get value from the time that they spend with you. They don't want to spend an hour and a half with you and find out that there was nothing of value that they could take away. So if anything, that would be the most valuable thing to take away from this weekly workshop, is that you have to make sure your workshops are of value. Now, I know you're thinking, I don't have time to do such a weekly workshop. However, you aren't doing a workshop on random topics. You need to focus on doing a weekly workshop that trains on topics related to your business, whether you have a business that's based on products or on services. You have to be able to be aware that you should be selling yourself by doing a weekly workshop. For example, a life coach would do a weekly workshop about productivity. Another time, they might do one on time management. And then another week, they might discuss mindset and discuss the problem and how they would have a solution to that problem. So takeaways for their audience. Every week, they would talk about their solution, and it would be implementable and of value to their viewers with a simple call me if you want to learn more call to action at the end of the workshop. So that's an idea of why you would do a weekly workshop and how you can easily find topics that are relevant to your business in order to do the weekly workshops. It should always be about something that you're working on. Can you measure the value of doing a weekly workshop in your business? Yes, if before you do a weekly workshop, you had a few clients, but after doing the workshop for months, you have more clients, finding it easy to join in your business. So there's a simple measure of the value of doing it. What are you trying to accomplish each week? More reasons, of course, to do a weekly workshop. So in doing a weekly workshop, you're teaching. It's not a sales webinar, as we mentioned. The idea is the session isn't going to be to make customers to make an emotional decision. In this case, you're not attempting to break any belief patterns of the audience. You're not trying to change their, create a feeling of, oh, what's this? I didn't know anything about this type of feeling in your audience, because this is not a sales webinar. It is to get them to make a rational decision that basically they'll be back again next week because they find your workshop of value, or the week after. You will demonstrate to them why your product is the only logical decision to get what they want. So over the weeks of doing the weekly workshop, at all times, you're demonstrating to them who you are, what your value is, and what your product and service might be that could help them in their business. So how do you find enough content for your weekly workshop? Well, you cover different angles of your customers' problems. So instead of developing a publishing schedule, considering working from your launch calendar. Start with the offer. What are your plans for offering, and what are you offering in the year? And then make the workshops relevant to those offers. So whatever you're going to be releasing is how you should be creating your content. Every week, even though the session is free, you should be creating an offer to make. Whatever you should be doing is creating content to discuss the problem that the offer solves. Because whether it's the end of the session, inside of the session, or before the session, you should be creating the need for what you will be teaching. So, for example, I should be making an offer of a year's worth of building your business using these 15 principles as an offer, and I will have basically a study course for people to do. Once I have about 10 sessions, I think I'll have enough in order to make at least a free offer so that they get on my list and they get my workshops and they get my checklists and workbooks, and they start developing their own, build their business, etc. So you should always be considering why you're doing what you're doing. So start with the offer. Cover different angles of your customers' problems. So cover different aspects of your customers' problems that your product or service solves. You should demonstrate your depth of knowledge of the physical part of the problem, the emotional part of the problem, the personal part of the problem, and the psychological part of the problem. And of course, at the same time, going over some of these problems will, of course, be triggering, and the client will realize that you have the solution. This is where you will connect to different customers during different weeks of your workshop. If you're always considering how to demonstrate the depth of your knowledge of the problem and how your product or service solves this, then you will be able to find people who need that solution. You don't have to get everyone every single time. Your job is to connect with everyone at least once over time, and then, of course, solve their problem by showing how solving with your solution will help them to solve that problem. So even though you're doing a weekly workshop and it's a teaching workshop, you also will be making an offer of something which might help them to solve a problem. So, for example, the next time I talk about doing a weekly workshop, we'll talk about broadcasting and how you can do it on Facebook and how you can use broadcasting software and various things. And I will have an offer of a quick course, home study course on broadcasting. So this is how you connect this doing free weekly workshops, because yes, they're always free, the weekly workshops, because what you're doing is you're connecting with people who don't know you, and so they start to get to know you over time and understand who you are and understand whether or not you have the solution to their problem. So we're going to be talking about the next principle next time, but you can join for the free trainings at http://build-your-business-framework, and you can subscribe and get the worksheets and the courses, the free courses. I think after the 10th, I think I'm on my week 7. After week 10, I'll put them all into a free membership, so it's much easier to find them. But I'll show you right now where they are so you can go look at the replays. But for now, we're going to be talking about how to build a product snowball. How are you going to work being an educator, developing your brand, doing a weekly workshop, and building products on a regular basis, basically, and selling them. So this is the next principle we're going to be talking about. And then, of course, after that, we'll be talking about marketing and creating a content factory, etc. So you can join for free trainings. This is the quick version of http://jgtips.com/byb free. And next week, we're going to be talking about doing a product snowball. And there will be some free training there that I will probably give to the people who are on my email list. And it's really good training. It was very mind-blowing for me. And you can come into the Facebook group at http://facebook.com/groups/implement club. And you can share your questions, share your goals, share your ideas, and of course, ask anything you wish in the Facebook group. For now, that's where we'll be going for a group. So thank you for listening. The next time when we talk about doing a weekly workshop, we'll look at the process of how you make a workshop something that is of value to you in your business. And just because it's free as a weekly workshop does not mean that you can't monetize it. So thank you, and we'll see you next time. See you next time. For this week, I want you to think about what you could do as a weekly workshop. Obviously, I'm doing this as a weekly workshop to get my in gear. I don't swear, so. But I do need to do other weekly workshops. So I will be talking to you as we go along as to my plans, and I might share it in the Facebook group. I just have to pick a date to do my weekly workshop where I do trainings on something which you can take away and implement. Thank you for listening. It's Jane Gardner.